Have you ever wondered if the darkness is truly an infinite void, or if it is a giant velvet blanket patiently waiting to embrace you after a long and weary journey? Right now, let me lead you to a place where light does not come from the sun, but from compassion and letting go. A place where the scratches on the soul are not pain, but openings for magic to seep in. You are at the threshold of the Garden of Glowing Specks, a place where all worries will dissolve into stardust, and sleep will come as the purest gift. Before we step deep into this mystical forest together, if you love these moments of stillness and want to join Sava Bedtime Story in search of peace every night, don't forget to give this story a like and hit the subscribe button. Your companionship is the warmest light that helps us continue this healing journey. And now, let the outside world recede and let yourself be soothed in a space reserved just for you. Close your eyes. That's right, just close your eyes. Let all the images of today, the faces you've met, the unfinished task, let them recede behind the doors of your mind. Now, I invite you to perform the most loving gesture for yourself. Find the most comfortable position on your bed. Feel the firmness of the mattress supporting your body. You don't need to brace yourself anymore. You don't need to strive for anything else. Reach up, adjust your pillow until it's perfectly cozy, so your neck and head can completely relax. Pull up the soft velvet blanket. Feel the warmth slowly spreading, enveloping your skin like a gentle hug from a loved one. Now, pay attention to your breath. No need to try to breathe deeply or strongly. Just let the breath happen naturally, like the rhythm of the night sea waves. Inhale, cool and fresh. Exhale, warm. With each exhale, imagine you are setting down an invisible burden on your shoulders, letting go, gently, gently. You feel your body beginning to grow heavy, a pleasant heaviness, as if you are slowly sinking into a fluffy cloud. Bring your attention to your forehead. Are there any lingering thoughts there? Let them melt away. Relax your forehead. Let all the wrinkles of worry disappear. Relax your eyebrows. Let them spread out naturally. Now your eyes, those eyes that have had to observe so much harsh light all day long, let them sink deep, resting completely in their sockets. Relax your eyes, gently, gently. Do you feel the wondrous minimalism covering your vision? It is the darkness of reassurance. Continue down to the corners of your mouth. Let your teeth part slightly so the facial muscles can fully relax. Relax your neck. Relax your shoulders. Your shoulders are dropping down, away from your ears, shedding all the heavy pressure. This feeling of relaxation is flowing down your arms, through your elbows, to the very tips of your fingers. You feel your hands becoming soft, no longer clenched, but opening as if ready to receive the tiny specks of light from the mystical forest about to appear. Your body now is so heavy, growing heavier, heavier, but your mind is beginning to feel weightless. Let this relaxation spread down to your chest, to your abdomen, and flow along your spine. Each vertebra feels as if it is stretching out, being caressed by stillness, down to your legs, those legs that have traveled so many miles of life's roads. Relax your calves, relax your ankles and each toe. Your entire body now is like a still river without a single ripple. You are detaching from the busy world out there. The sound of car horns, the voices of people, the ticking of the clock, all become faint, distant. There is only you and I, and this steady breath. You are safe. You are protected. You are in a space where time no longer has meaning, a space dedicated to healing. Feel this sensation of grounding very clearly. The surface of the bed is no longer wood or a mattress, but seems to have transformed into a soft, dew-damp velvet grass carpet. Do you smell the faint scent of wet grass? It is the taste of a beginning, of peace returning. You are standing at the edge of the forest, where the silent ancient trees are waiting for you. You don't need to go anywhere. Just lie here and let your soul slowly drift toward the flickering light in the depths of the forest. In that darkness, do you see? Tiny specks of light begin to appear. They are not dazzling, they are gentle like whispers. It is spark, it is glow. Those are the glowing specks carrying the message of forgiveness. But before meeting them, just let yourself sink a little deeper, heavier, heavier, letting go completely. Everything you have done today, whether good or not so good, whether successful or unfinished, let it all stay here. You don't need to be perfect to be loved. You don't need to be without scratches to shine. Even a tiny speck of light, like spark, once suffered from the rose thorns, but it was that very pain that led him to a deeper understanding of friendship and altruism. You are the same. This weariness is the precursor to the deepest sleep you have ever had. Just breathe very slowly, very softly. Feel the stillness permeating every cell. You are melting into the velvet night. You are ready to enter the garden of tiny miracles. Do not hurry. The forest will wait for you. The glowing specks will lead the way for you. Your task right now is simply to rest. Absolute rest. Your breath now has become very light, very steady. Your heartbeat has slowed down, harmonizing with the quiet pulse of Mother Earth below. You are gradually leaving this reality to step into another world where every wound is soothed by a warm lemon yellow light speck. You feel so small yet so grand in this peace. Let me lead you a little farther, deeper into the space of the forest, where even the darkness knows how to sing a lullaby. When your body has completely sunk deep into stillness, when the vibrations of reality are only ripples fading away further and further, I invite you to truly step into that ancient mystical forest. Imagine right now you are no longer lying on your familiar bed, but you are standing at the intersection where the sunset has just faded and the black night begins to reign. Under your bare feet, the first sensation to touch you is the startling softness of the velvet grass. Tiny, slender blades of grass, yet carrying within them a resilient vitality, are gently supporting your footsteps. Do you feel the coolness of the night dew melting under your heels? It is a gentle chill, soaking through the skin, weaving into each blood vessel, helping to dissipate the final remnants of a long, hot, and hurried day. With every step, that coolness spreads, cooling down anxieties, soothing the calluses that life has unintentionally left behind. Inhale very slowly. Do you smell the scent of the night? It is not a pungent fragrance, but a subtle blend of the deep scent of damp earth, the stoic scent of thousand-year-old ancient trees, and the late blooming queen of the night flower, a pure fragrance reserved only for those who know how to wait patiently in silence. The air here is so clear that each of your breaths is like a soul cleansing, bringing peace deep into your chest and pushing worries away with the hazy white smoke of your breath. Looking up high, the giants of the old forest are stretching out their lush leafy arms to embrace the sky. The ancient trees stand tall and silent in the night, like guardians who are old yet powerful. Their vastness and steadiness create a feeling of absolute reassurance. You feel as if you are lying in a natural hollow, a lush green fortress where all the noises of the world are blocked by the rough bark and dense layers of leaves. The darkness here brings no fear, but is like a velvet blanket, jet black, smooth and deep, where all things find rest and all sounds are muffled to become as gentle as a whisper. And then magic begins to appear from that very darkness. Tiny specks of light, fragile as breath, begin to soar between the leaves. It is not the brilliant light of electric bulbs, but the soul fires of lemon yellow and sapphire blue, moving rhythmically like a river of stars flowing right on the ground. You see Spark, the energetic sapphire blue speck, gliding swiftly like a small flash of lightning, carrying the desire to light up every dark corner. Right beside him is Glow, a warm golden light, calmer, always flying with a leisurely rhythm as if soothing the surrounding space. Glimmering beneath the base of the ancient tree, where the aged bark has cracked to form safe crevices, is the dwelling of old insect. He stands there, motionless and wise, observing the movements of the forest with infinite tolerance. And in a narrower corner, hidden behind moss-covered rocks, you recognize the silhouette of a tiny rosebud with sharp thorns reaching out. That thorny rose is trembling in the darkness, hiding her fragility behind the sharp exterior. The eye-soothing contrast between the deep dark background and these tiny specks of light creates a magical spatial depth, making your mind no longer want to analyze, no longer want to deliberate, but only want to slowly melt into it. You feel yourself also gradually becoming a part of this garden, fragile as a firefly's wing, steady as an old tree trunk, and gradually opening your heart like a night flower. Let yourself drift in this multi-sensory space. The sound of crickets begins to harmonize, riri, riri, steadily echoing from afar, like a persistent wordless music lullabying you to sleep. Everything in the garden has its own place, its own value, and so do you. You are here, amidst the protection of the old forest, prepared to witness a journey of collision, hurt, and miraculous healing. Keep breathing steadily, slowly. You are moving closer to the center of the garden, where the story of forgiveness is about to begin. Amidst that magical space, where your mind has completely harmonized with the breath of the old forest, the story of the glowing specks begins to appear more clearly, like a slow-motion film projecting on the black velvet background of the night. You see Spark, that sapphire blue speck, full of vitality. He cannot sit still on the leaves. Spark loves the feeling of gliding through the air, loves the way his light tears through the darkness to create shimmering streaks of color. To Spark, shining is a mission, and he wants to be the brightest, fastest speck of light, reaching into the deepest parts of the thicket to prove his presence. Beside him, Glow continued to fly quietly with a leisurely rhythm. Glow's lemon yellow light was not as brilliant, but it possessed a strange depth and warmth. Glow would often stop for a long time by a sprig of moss or a bud whose petals had closed, as if whispering words of comfort to them. Spark, please slow down a little, Glow reminded him softly, his voice as gentle as the sound of falling leaves. Do you see? In the darkness, we need to feel everything with calmness. Flying too fast can sometimes make us miss silent beauties, or bump into things we have yet to understand. But Spark, with the enthusiasm of youth, only laughed aloud. His laughter dissolved into the air into tiny specks of light. Glow, the darkness was born for us to conquer. Watch me I'm going to light up that wild rose thicket over there, where no glowing speck has dared to set foot. And then, with a powerful leap, Spark darted away. He moved like an arrow of light, piercing through the layers of mist drifting on the ground. He wanted to create a spectacular leap to show off the glow, but in the murky darkness of a wild bush, Spark did not realize there are things that do not wish to be touched so abruptly. It was the wild rose thicket, where a tiny rosebud was shrinking back in fear of the winter night to protect itself from outside intrusion. The rose had built fences of sharp, rugged, and daunting thorns. Zip! A dry, sharp sound rang out in the stillness of the forest. Spark's flight came to a sudden halt. A long thorn had struck his wing, leaving a scratch across his fragile body of light. Spark fell, not a hard fall, but a wobble like a leaf leaving its branch, then landed softly on a broad, dew-drenched leaf. Spark's brilliant sapphire light suddenly dimmed completely. He curled up, trembling. The scratch on his wing brought not only physical stinging pain, but it also wounded his pride. A once perfect speck of light now bore a scar. It hurt so much. Glow. Spark whimpered, his voice small and weak like a lonely cricket. I can't shine anymore. Look, I'm so ugly with this wound. I don't want to fly anymore. Perhaps I should just fade away. Why was that rose so cruel? I only wanted to make it beautiful. I only wanted to be its friend. Glow hurried over, landing right beside his friend. He did not speak preachy words, nor did he reproach Spark's carelessness. Glow simply and quietly radiated the warmest golden light he had, enveloping Spark in a comforting aura. He used his tiny wings to soothe Spark, rhythmically like a mother's breath. Spark, look at me, Glow whispered. Do you know, your light does not reside in whether your wings are intact or not. That light lives in your heart that always wants to brighten this forest. It's just one scratch. I still see you as very beautiful. Sometimes a scar is the mark of a brave journey. Don't fade away, for if you go out, the forest will lose a part of its miraculous green. Meanwhile, from within the dark leaves of the rose bush, a small, choked voice spoke up. It was the Thorny Rose. The bud was trembling, and her thorns seemed to droop in remorse. I'm so sorry, the rose said, her voice as thin as misty smoke. I didn't mean to hurt you, little light. It's just I have lived in the darkness for too long, and I am afraid of things too bright rushing at me. I thought you were something that wanted to harm me, so I put out my thorns by instinct. I was afraid, and fear turned me into someone who hurts others. Please forgive me. The Thorny Rose's confession made the space become strangely silent. Spark stopped crying, looking up at the tiny flower nesting in the dark. He suddenly realized that the rose was also lonely and afraid, just like him in this moment. Just then, Old Insect, the keeper of the night forest's secrets, slowly crawled out from a crevice in the ancient tree's bark. He moved slowly, each footstep carrying the solemnity of time. He looked at Spark, looked at Glow, then at the Thorny Rose. His voice was deep and warm, resonating like a distant temple bell. You see, in this garden, everyone carries their own fears, and sometimes, because we fear being hurt, we unintentionally hurt others. Spark, you were struck because you were too hurried. Rose, you struck another because you were too afraid. But this wound is not the end. Listen to me. Anger is like a hot coal. If you keep holding it in your hand, you are the first one to be burned. He paused for a moment, letting those words soak into the dew-damp space. Learn to forgive. Forgiving is not saying that being hurt is okay, but forgiving is to liberate yourself. When you forgive the rose, you are also allowing the wound on your own wing to heal. And you will see, when light passes through scars, it is no longer a mere harsh light. It will become warmer and more enduring, for it carries within it the power of compassion. Spark was silent. He closed his eyes, feeling the warmth from Glow and the sincere apology from the Thorny Rose. He realized that holding on to sadness only made his light fade more and more. He took a deep breath, feeling the fresh scent of the forest night, and flicked his wings slightly. Rose, I understand now. I am no longer angry with you. Thank you for being brave enough to apologize. We are all equally small in this vast forest, and perhaps we need each other more than we need sharp thorns. As soon as Spark uttered the words of forgiveness, a miracle happened that he himself did not expect. The scratch on his wing did not disappear, but from that very scratch, a brilliant golden aura suddenly radiated, blending with his original sapphire blue. That light was no longer cold, but became strangely gentle and compassionate. Wherever the light spread, the darkness receded. The Thorny Rose, bathed in the warm light of forgiveness, seemed to be infused with vitality. The petals that had been tightly closed for so long slowly began to bloom. The sound of the bud blooming rang out, an ethereal sound, light as a happy sigh. A deep red rose, radiant and fragrant, appeared in the middle of the black night. The thorns seemed to soften, no longer threatening but becoming silent sentinels protecting the beauty of the flower. Glow cried out in joy. Spark, look, your light is so beautiful now. It's warmer than ever. The two glowing specks, together with a fragrant rose, created a magnificent scene in the forest night. Thousands of other glowing specks from the bushes, from the leaves of the ancient trees, also began to fly out, drawn by the warmth of altruism. Together they formed a river of light across the garden, turning the velvet darkness into a shimmering crystal palace. Old Insect smiled, his aged eyes brightening with joy. Well done, children. Always remember tonight, forgiveness not only heals wounds, but it also makes our light warmer. Now, fly away together. This forest still has many places that need to be lit up by your compassion. Spark and Glow held hands, their wings rhythmically fluttering. They circled the Thorny Rose one last time, leaving shimmering golden dust on the petals, then flew high up together, surpassing even the ancient trees, heading toward the starry sky. Spark realized that though he was small, though he bore scars, when he knew how to love and let go, he could create the most wonderful miracles. Their story continues, but now the rhythm has slowed down, becoming more relaxed. Spark no longer wants to fly fast to conquer. He wants to fly slowly to feel the heart of the forest. He and Glow promised each other to always be together, shining together and going through every darkness of life together. Dear friend, let the image of those two glowing specks linger in your mind. Think of the scratches you may have carried today. Let forgiveness and compassion water them, just as Spark did with the Thorny Rose. You see, darkness can never extinguish light unless we choose to fade away ourselves. And right now, the light within you is becoming warmer than ever, preparing to take you into the most peaceful sleep. Breathe steadily, slowly. The story is gradually closing to make room for absolute stillness. After going through the levels of hurt and the miracle of compassion together, the forest night is no longer a place of upheaval, but has become a giant home, silent to the very end. The tiny, glowing specks, after a journey of lighting up the soul, now also begin to feel their wings grow heavy, their flight rhythm slowing, returning to the most peaceful places to rest. The overlap between the story and your reality is beginning to emerge, ethereal and gentle like night mist. Look, Spark is gently landing on the broad dew-covered leaf. It is a giant wild leaf, slightly hollow in the middle, like a natural hammock woven with the green of life. The leaf surface is smooth, cool, carrying the pure scent of tree sap. As Spark lies down, the dewdrops roll gently beside him, making rhythmic sounds of plink, plink, like an hourglass of time drifting into the dream realm. Spark is no longer worried about the scratch on his wing, for the coolness of the night dew and the support of the leaf are cradling him into a deep sleep. Glow has also found a resting place for himself. He glides lightly into the heart of the rose that just bloomed. Those crimson rose petals are now soft as layers of cotton blankets, embracing glow. The rich fragrance of the newly healed flower radiates, enveloping glow, creating a private space, warm and full of scent. The flower gently closes a little, sheltering the friend who brought it forgiveness, and you, the one listening to this whisper, you are also finding your own ideal resting place. You see yourself lying on a thick green moss carpet beneath the base of the ancient tree. The moss layer is soft as velvet, more comfortable than any mattress you have ever known, supporting your entire body. You feel the steadiness of the ancient tree roots winding beneath your back, transmitting to you the strength of stillness. You and the characters are gradually becoming one. Your breath harmonizes with Spark's breath on the leaf, harmonizes with the gentle vibration of the rose. The distinction between you and the forest is gradually dissolving. You are no longer an observer. You are a part of this silence. All images in your mind begin to fade, like the glowing specks gradually dimming to recharge. The chirping of crickets, the rustling of leaves now sound very distant, as if echoing from another world. You feel yourself drifting buoyantly, weightless, melting into the velvet darkness of the forest. I will speak very slowly, very softly, because you are very close to sleep now. Your body is heavy, but your soul is as light as a floating speck of light. All worries have been left with old insect to guard in the crevices of the bark. You only need to let go, to let yourself drift, melting in. The golden light from Spark's scar still flickers a little in your mind, like a reminder that everything is okay, every wound has healed, and now that light also fades away, making room for a mysterious black and absolute peace. You are dissolving, gently dissolving into the sleep of healing. You are lying there in the absolute protection of the forest night. Notice your breath one last time, so light, so soft, like a thin mist drifting through the ancient leaves. Inhale, you receive the purity of the old forest. Exhale, you dissolve into the void. All boundaries between your body and the bed, between your mind and the forest, have been completely erased. You no longer see yourself as a solitary individual. You are the mist, you are the moss, you are part of the velvet darkness covering the world. Feel the silence, a silence that is not empty, but full of comfort. The crickets chirping now is only a very thin ribbon of sound, distant like an echo from another life. The sound of water, plink, plink, from the leaves, also thins out, then disappears into the realm of stillness. The darkness now is not black, but a space of the deepest healing. In the cocoon of the dark night, your soul is stitching back its own scratches, just as the golden light silently mended Spark's wings. You feel yourself drifting, no direction, no destination. You don't need to try to sleep, for sleep has found you and embraced you. Let your mind be empty, like a rippleless lake under the stars. The final thoughts of forgiveness, of compassion, now also turn into tiny light specks, flying high, higher and higher, then dissolving into the eternal night sky. You are sleeping so deep, so deep. The heaviness of your eyelids, the absolute relaxation of every muscle. You are safe in the arms of nature. Nothing can disturb your sleep. The thorns of life have been left behind, giving way to the fragrance of the rose, representing reconciliation and peace. You are protected by the giants of the trees, by the silent wisdom of old insect, and by your own steady breath. I will be silent with you. I will stand here at the edge of the forest of consciousness, guarding your sleep to be full. Just drift toward beautiful dreams, where light is always warm and hearts are always kind. Tomorrow, when the first sunlight wakes the forest, you will wake up with a new heart and new energy, radiant and full of life, just as Spark flew higher after his life's event. Don't forget, tomorrow morning when you wake up refreshed, come back here. Share this piece by liking and subscribing to the Sava Bedtime Story channel. Your presence is a precious glowing speck in our garden, but that is a story for tomorrow. For now, sleep, sleep. Peace returns. Let go completely. Everything is okay. You are the light. You are the stillness. Sleep deep. Sleep so deep. Silence, silence. Good night.